Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Horror Lore. And for this one, we're going to be stamping our passports, getting out of the cold, and going down to San Diego, California to hang out with one upstanding citizen named Jesse Michael Gomes. Let's go. Now, in sunny San Diego, on July 28th, 2016, two police officers from the San Diego Police Department's gang suppression team, officers Jonathan de Guzman and officers Wade Irwin, were doing their last patrol of the night down in an area in San Diego, California. Now, on Acadia Grove Way, a street in a suburban area of San Diego, California, officers Jonathan de Guzman and officers Wade Irwin were on their final patrol of the evening. And as they were doing this final patrol, they spotted two men standing at a corner conversing. As soon as the two men looked, they noticed the two officers. They abruptly split up, therefore driving suspicion of the officers. So what do the cops do? The cops do what cops do. They followed them. Now, out of the two men that split up, the officers started following Jesse Michael Gomes. And he was walking up the street, the police were tailing him, and they stopped just behind them. And Officer Wade Irwin, he got out of the vehicle, and he approached Mr. Gomes and got his attention and said, "Hey, Mr. Gomes, where are you from? What are you doing in this area?" And right away, Jesse Gomes, he had a response for that officer. Now, without any warning, word, or nothing, Jesse Gomes turned around with an extremely angry look on his face, right away drew and began firing at the officers, immediately striking Officer Irwin directly in the throat. Mr. Irwin fell back, he fell into the patrol car and onto the ground. Jesse Gomes, he continued firing as he approached the patrol car, walked up to the side and emptied his gun into the driver's side of the patrol car where Officer Jonathan de Guzman was sitting. Those shots, they killed Jonathan de Guzman instantly. The officer was dead, and Officer Irwin was laying at the front of the patrol car on the ground, gravely injured with a bullet hole in his throat. Now, Jesse Gomes, he obviously needs to get the hell out of there. He just shot one officer in the throat who was laying gravely injured at the front of the patrol car. He just emptied the clip into the other officer in the driver's seat, killing him, so he began to run. Now, even though Officer Wade Irwin was gravely injured, he managed to get his service weapon and fire shots at Jesse Gomes, which he did hit Jesse, and Jesse kept running while he was shot by the officer. Later on that evening, they did locate Jesse Gomes, gravely injured, unconscious, bleeding, down by a ravine not far from where the original shooting took place. Now, for whatever reasons, when the police located Jesse Gomes shot to shite, they saved his ass. They took him to the hospital, he underwent medical treatment, and he survived his injuries. He was then placed under arrest for first-degree murder, attempted murder, and a felon being in possession of a firearm. What a good boy he's been. The two officers, they were also rushed to a hospital from the scene where officers Jonathan de Guzman was pronounced deceased and Officer Wade Irwin underwent multiple surgeries, medical care, and he did managed to survive his injuries and recover. Now, after Mr. Gomes managed to survive his exciting evening with the San Diego Police Department, he began to tell the police his side of the story. He said he believed the officers were rival gang members tailing up on him and about to G-check him. He said he did notice the lights on the police car, however, the way they were driving slow made him suspicious. And when Officer Wade Irwin got out of the vehicle and approached him and asked him, "Hey, where are you from?" Mr. Gomes says that he thought that was a rival gang member challenging him because if a rival gang member or your op wants to catch you in their block, they're going to ask you where you're from. And if you're not from that area, you're more than likely going to get shot. So he believed that the San Diego Police Department gang suppression team was actually the ops coming up to put a cap in his ass. Clearly the police and nobody else believed that Mr. Jesse Gomes was Tupac hanging down on the West Side gang. He's just a killer. So he was held without bail until his trial in 2019, where he was found guilty of first-degree murder, he was found guilty of attempted murder, and he was also found guilty of a felon being in possession with a firearm. Not only was he found guilty of first-degree murder, he was found guilty of first-degree murder under special circumstances, which qualified him for, guess what? The death penalty. And I wonder if he's going to get it. His sentencing was held to be in February 25th, 2022. And that's the day that he was going to learn his fate. Is he going to spend life in prison, or is he going to get put to sleep? Well, what do you think happened? Yeah, dumb question. They're killing him. He's dying. On February 25th, 2022, the judge looked him in the face and said, "You're being sentenced to death." And he is the first person in San Diego in over a dozen years to get the death penalty. So he set a record there too. And while on the stand during victim impact statements, the surviving officer, Wade Irwin, looked right at Mr. Gomes, looked him right in the face, and said, "I sat there and watched you execute my partner. So while you are being executed, I am going to be a witness, and I'm going to lay there and watch you be executed." And he got a round of applause for that. So that's the story of Mr. Gangbang Gomes, the man in San Diego who shot 2 police officers, killing 1, arrested, sentenced to death, miraculously survived being shot in the first place. But, no, God works in mysterious ways. You survive this way, you're gonna die that way. Of course, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Horror Lore. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. If you would like to further support this channel, ways to do so are posted in the description below. I appreciate each and every one of you, and can't wait for you to come back and check out the next one, because you never know. The next story I'll be telling could be about you or somebody you know. Until next time, thanks again.